into the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
There it is. Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for another AfterBuzz TV after show for Call the Midwife. This is Series 5, Episode 4. I'm John Comerford in the studio with Marisa Serafini.
Hello, everyone.
Tamara Berg.
Hi, everybody.
And Courtney Stewart.
Hello, hello.
Welcome back, Courtney.
Courtney's
Back from the
back.
trenches in the
Out of the
production. So
trenches.
good to have you back. Happy to. And a full boat, by the way. So I'm glad everybody's here. We can jump right in with Sister Julienne. I was just three, for me, I'm sorry I'm fumbling, but the three things that I really wanted to talk about in terms of Sister Julienne were just three shots of her really told the story. The look on her face on every one of these shots when she's about to go into St. Cuthbert's.
Yes.
And she's just this hope, this positivity, excitement. I'm going, and they took the time to take the shot. I'm going, oh, nice. And then when, of course, the baby is born and the result of that, and then we get to see her face. And then at the end, when Sister Mary Cynthia is talking about
in the chapel.
St. Hildegard and the reason and the hug and all that, and we cut back to her again. That right there told the whole story for me. It was just in those three looks, and I was just amazed at her performance and her storyline in this. I was thrilled with it and gutted again.
When the three of them were in the chapel,
Yeah.
just the three of them in the chapel, I shouted in my head,
Monica Joan,
Monica
Mary
Joan,
Cynthia,
and
and Sister Julienne.
Yes.
Yeah.
Emmy!
Yeah.
That's what I shouted.
Yeah.
Prayer.
Oh my God, she needed replenishment.
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 Jeez. And just again, we're so used to seeing Sister Julienne being that for everybody else, and to see her in need and reaching out and having everybody just surround her with that support. It was
I
killing me.
liked the immediacy of the two other women in there, where they immediately, because they're so close in their relationship, they immediately knew that something was wrong with her,
Yes.
and they immediately were there for support.
Yeah.
They're like, let's pray.
And of all people, the way Sister Monica Joan recognized it.
Like,
and
just
saw it.
flashed on her face.
Yes.
Our sister is in need of replenishment.
Oh,
It's just
it sucked all out of her. Jeez.
okay.
Oh my God.
I know. All right, but let's start back. Let's go through that storyline a little bit more from the beginning. And that, it starts out, Sheila's talking about hospitals and, giving birth in the hospital and go, oh, that's right, the onset of this. No, we're going. And I thought this was such a show in contrast, because we really got to see the starkness of, well, I should say the difference between how we've been used to seeing all these births at home, in everybody's
Individualized personal care.
Exactly, in their
the
own
mother
bedroom.
and the baby being the focus.
And then we go to the hospital, and just the look of it was
white.
Yeah, it was
single
very
amazing
bright
contrast.
lights.
Yeah.
And the rules and the
She's gonna take
regimentation.
her break
I need
anyway.
my break. Yeah.
and
I need a cup of tea, and I need it now, but you can't have one.
And later on, we're not. The rules say we're not supposed to go into the postnatal. I'm going, what? Yeah. It was such a contrast for me. Was it shocking to you guys to see that?
Absolutely. I think visually, every time we go into someone's homes, it's usually warm and inviting, and then when you go to the hospital, it's clear white. It's very saturated.
Yeah.
There's no personality and no color to it, which I think, for the visual aspects, that really shows that there's no emotion there.
Yeah.
And even, when it comes to the birth, they immediately take the baby away from the mother, whereas every time you see a birth in the home, it's like they immediately, they connect to their child, and they didn't have that immediate connection.
Yeah.
And that goes right to the opening monologue, which is things are spinning faster and we're not able to hang on and catch up or whatever. And then I'm going, that's right. This is gonna change so drastically. And I was kind of saddened by the idea of it, because I got so used to and uncomfortable with having the births at home, even though it didn't really seem, I don't know, sterile.
Yeah.
that they used newspaper and stuff.
It's like a plastic bag on the bed.
But it's the idea that you just put the baby in an incubator and roll it away, and
Yeah.
I just was, that's right, that's just so odd now, because I'm so used to watching the show where it's the baby's on the mother.
Different level of intrusion and vulnerability that like I feel through all of it. Because like in the beginning, I'm always saying the midwives, like they're always stuck in the middle of like family drama and uncomfortable spots.
Yeah.
So it's like a weird intrusion in like actual day-to-day life, but something about that makes the birthing and makes them a part of the family. Then in the hospital, it was just so stark and cold, and the vulnerability of
and the birth
mother
is an intrusion to my brain.
Exactly. It's like weird how that those are juxtaposed to
and
each
they're
other.
running so efficiently and stuff to some degree, and it's about the doctor. It's not about the mother. It's just, or the baby. It's just so odd.
It's not a loving atmosphere at the hospital.
And
very inhumane. In a
and
way.
what was it that when they were first talking about the hospital deliveries, they were talking about 10 days.
Oh yeah. If I left my kid for 10 days, like 10 days.
10 days?
Yeah.
It's what, like 15 hours now?
Oh, yeah.
In
something like
America,
that. Yeah,
anyway.
they want you up and
Yeah.
out. They want you up and out. Sure.
Unless you have a C-section, they're like, deuces.
And then
Let's
you get an extra 5 hours.
Let's go. Moving along.
Taking
The
too long.
moment when Mrs. Cottingham was in the gurney, so they brought her to the hospital and they put her on the gurney, and she sees Sister Julienne
in
and
the
just
hall.
like grabs her.
Yeah.
It was just that one of those moments of the connection to how it's always been and how are we going to take care of this. And it was interesting that ambivalence of the women in the auditorium when Sheila was talking about, like, is it better to have it at home? Isn't it better to have it at home?
And we have the gas out of the real machine and all this other stuff. And
and the lack of knowledge.
I liked how they did the comparisons of the pros and cons, because when we were at the house, she was Ruby was told that she was the what was it
model patient, and so we've been conditioned to think everyone who's healthy is at home and everyone who's not, or if there's something wrong with the delivery, then they go to the hospital. So if you're in the hospital, it's not a good reason why you're there. Right.
Yeah, and of course there was brow presenting. Is that the term?
Yeah,
that
brow
they use?
presentation.
Brow presentation. Thank you for correcting me. And so that's why they go to the hospital, of course. And I thought the hospital that hallway scene was terrific. And then just after that, when they were in the delivery, and I thought that was odd too, because Sister Julienne's there, and she's what she always is, which is just fabulous.
Yeah.
And then that
compassion
with the doctor
personified.
Yeah, it's like, okay, C-section. And it's
he
all
just
this,
dug down in there. And I watch a lot of surgery stuff on TV because I'm weird like that.
Not
But that
me.
scene, I was like, oh, this seems brutal. I don't know. It was
it's
just
good.
really brutal. And the
Yeah.
way he just like scooped up the baby and was like, here, take it. Oh, well, that's a problem. Like, it just, ugh.
It did seem a little barbaric, didn't it? Because and it's just really efficient. They're just having the quickest way to get to the baby and stuff. It doesn't really have anything more to do than that, because it's certainly not the most convenient and easy for the mother, but it's certainly easier for the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's make it about
So,
Because that's what matters.
I thought it was, I don't know about you, I thought it was fascinating the way that they were delivering C-section in an actual environment, controlled environment where they can have it properly. And as gruesome as it was, I still thought it was visually intriguing.
no, it was. I thought so. I mean, and again,
I can't comment because my eyes were closed.
That's the thing. It was great because it made me squirrel. I was squeamish, and I'm not generally. I this oh my god, this is.
I'm like you. I watch Surgery
I
Channel.
watch it all the time.
Absolutely, it
I was
doesn't get
in
me.
the
watch it
room
too
for my
much.
godson's
That's my problem.
C-section. Like, I'm prepared, but that was not.
I think here's what it was for me, because I don't have a problem watching surgeries. That doesn't make me squeamish. I think it's because I got to know Ruby Coddington, those little time with her. Because as soon as I saw her getting, I was like, okay, no, if I know that person and I've already developed some sort of attachment, I don't want to see that.
Isn't that interesting?
I'm okay if I don't know the person.
Yeah.
So this one I already got, and because there was energy in it, there was emotion going into it. There was this fear. There was all kinds of things, and the struggle.
Right, and she says, "Yeah, I want a girl, and will you look after her because I will be asleep."
And, okay, who did everybody? As soon as she says yes, I promise. I'm going. Oh, why did you promise?
Why did you promise something horrible's about to happen?
Exactly.
And you're
Now
never
it's
gonna be able
gonna
to forgive yourself. And it's gonna be a whole thing, and that's exactly what happened.
Exactly. Say no. Haven't you watched the show? You never make a promise.
Yeah.
Especially in a hospital.
Yes.
No.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. And then I thought, of course, after they finally deliver the child, and then the doctor's reaction to it, and everybody, the whole mood, everything changes, and it's just, it is, they get
Right.
somebody.
Oh God, another one. It's alive.
Yeah.
Somebody take it.
Yeah. And I was and of course we don't know. We haven't seen the child, and I was just going, oh God, it was just again gutting. I was just going, ugh.
And then when she walks in that room and the baby's breathing on the freaking windowsill.
Oh man!
Who the hell did that?
Yeah, I know.
Why?
I know. I want to fly through the damn TV.
This is the start of the hospital.
Yeah.
Y'all are still supposed to have
That's
some
where
compassion.
she said, Anna said John's going to be mad.
Oh, is that
I
right?
bet you. Anna, is that it?
Probably.
Because John's mad.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's a couple of reasons to be really mad in this particular episode, but for good dramatic reason, I should say. So, when she can't find the child, what's that?
Keep going.
When she can't find the child at first, I'm going, oh no, already? And then the sleuths and the little handwritten note, do not enter. I'm going, no.
Why would they do that?
No, exactly.
Why would they do that?
That
And
would
then
be
the
her
final
direct quote. No.
Oh, is that right?
That's true.
exactly what she
She
said.
walked in the room.
Wow, it echoed in my brain.
Can you hear me, little one?
Every line, the prayer that she makes when she, first of all, okay, technically speaking, let's move from the emotion. Just the puppet was amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, really?
Mm-hmm. And it was breathing.
Oh,
and you
my
could hear it.
God.
You could see
You could see it.
Why did they have the window open?
Oh,
like,
the whole
I can't.
thing. Just sitting on the counter and not
covered.
Yeah.
Think of
All things,
yes.
leaving the window open.
Yeah.
See, I was immediately thinking maybe I don't know the history of SIDS, but that's what went straight to my mind, that maybe they would blame it on SIDS.
Oh, well, this is the thalidomide baby, so.
I don't know. Maybe they thought fresh air was a good thing.
But then let's look at the argument that the nurse made when they actually came in there, and of course Sister Julienne is just, this child is alive, it's breathing. The anesthesia is still in her, it's probably not feeling anything. And she says this is the kinder way, and I'm going,
How do we know?
Exactly there, and I don't know that, but I'm trying to look at it from that nurse's point of view, just because look at the world that she's operating in, and I mean that seriously. But it's the efficiency of it, and if there wasn't anesthesia, this is their best way of handling it, because they've got all of these others to deal with as well, and it seemed like they didn't see this as a child, as an individual, because you couldn't even know the sex, and maybe you can't get attached, because if you do, you're going to get attached to all of them. I mean, I was just, I didn't see an easy out for anybody there.
Well, and also his statement that this one's alive, it's alive,
suggests that the other ones weren't.
Or at least some of them weren't. And they did say that there were 3 in 12 months.
12 months? I thought, I beg your pardon, I thought it was a month.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry. Also, when the nurse is making her argument, what was upsetting listening to her is that she kept saying it, referring the baby as it. There was no human connection involved, which just makes it even.
But then she explains that, and I go,
the baby had no gender.
Sense.
Yeah.
And
but
what do you do then?
She didn't even. It relayed the message that she didn't care. No one cared.
Well, I know, but except until you find out that you can't even tell what gender it is. So how do you refer to the child?
Even if you refer to it as it, you don't leave it on the counter wide open.
Absolutely. I think we can all agree with that.
Take it in the room, hold on to it until it passes away, but don't just leave it in the room and
have incubators.
Goodness gracious.
It's all by itself.
Tragic.
But okay, let's just talk about that again, Tammy, and why the Emmy hasn't acknowledged Call the Midwife yet is beyond me. I can't even fathom an answer.
Ridiculous.
It's just ridiculous. But just the acting in that, holding that child and saying that prayer and the words.
My
what are the lines? I mean, we wrote. I'm sure I wrote them down.
It was
Don't
actually
be afraid.
it's a Bible verse.
Yes,
it's
of course.
Isaiah 43.
Don't be afraid. And go ahead, Tamara.
No. I didn't write it all down.
Oh, you didn't.
But I've redeemed you.
Called
you
by
are
your
mine.
name. You are mine.
You are mine.
When you pass through the waters, I will be
with you.
When you feel the flames, you will not burn. You are precious in my eyes.
Okay, and just for the record, I count that as the baby's baptism.
I did.
That's
me too.
That's what I decided.
Maybe not an official sacrament, but that works.
That worked for me.
I think that's in the win column there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Because that's the other thing, was her feeling that immediate guilt. So she has the baby. Thank God the baby was with someone who cared about her during her last breath. And then Sister Julienne instantly realizes that the baby has died and it hadn't been baptized. And I should have, and I could have done it.
Because
why didn't I?
You don't need a priest and all this other stuff. Yeah. And then she wants to tell Ruby but the rules state you're not supposed to. And I'm going, what? And thankfully the nurse said, yeah, but go.
Yeah.
But just do it till tomorrow. And then
I have to say I appreciated that nurse was not sort of a little more of a stereotype of evil nurses as we could have seen.
Because it could have been easily do that. Because speaking to Marissa's point, it made it look like she didn't have any humanity, except for the fact that there is a reason why she didn't give it a gender, because she didn't know the gender.
Right.
So, but to have her have that sense, like, yeah, you need to go. So at least she's in the healing arts, so to speak.
Yeah.
So she has that,
and it makes her character a little more complex, and have a little more depth. Yeah, and I appreciated that.
And if I thought that scene was good enough, then let's go to the next scene with Sister Julienne and Ruby, and that. You guys don't have to chat because I'll probably get choked up there. So,
was it a girl?
Yeah. Oh,
right. So
I'm sorry. Because the whole line. I forgot to
this
talk about
This is in the chapel with Mary Cynthia and Monica Joan and Sister Julienne.
Is a lie ever acceptable?
And the moment our sister is greatly in need of replenishment in prayer, and Sister Julienne said it was brutal and unbearable.
And
thank you for putting voice to how we all felt.
It definitely felt
as we were
brutal.
watching it.
Yeah.
So the question: do you suppose it's ever acceptable to tell a lie?
Yeah.
Is it kind?
If it's kind, and telling truth is cruel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
then there can be no virtue in it.
Yeah. But I love when Sister Julienne said she died in my arms.
Yes.
Like, at least she was with someone
who loved her and knew she was loved.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
And it was extremely kind to say all that, I would say. And I don't care if it was a lie or not.
When she took her last breath, she was warm and safe, and I believe she was aware that she was loved. And then Ruby saying, was I being punished?
Yeah. And it just echoed what Sister Julienne was feeling. Did I do enough? And here she's worried that she did something wrong.
Because she wanted a girl so bad.
Because she wanted a girl so bad. And me, she being punished. I'm just going, jeez. Yeah, they're so willing to take that on. I mean, and it's such a human reaction with something like that. What did I do wrong? Why is this happening? Yeah. And I've always, I'm going on and on about how this show's always about dignity and kindness, and it's like, it's all right there.
We have a fairy godmother between us.
We do.
That's what Ruby said at the end when they were talking about have I done something wrong?
Wishing this and wishing that. I thought you said we have no godmother between us. You think she's saying we do have a godmother?
We have got a fairy godmother between us.
Oh.
So like they found comfort in each other.
And so do you, John.
Why, thank you.
You can share.
Okay.
Because we're all connected in this moment, okay? And then at the end, the very end, the last scene of the show.
Because we opened up with the whole grabbing of the bread and touching up the oil painting or whatever, cleaning it, and that was such an odd thing to throw in there. But it was like, I'm gonna trust. I know they know what they're doing. Sense at the end. Exactly. We're gonna bookend this nicely.
Yeah. Did you think it was like some ritual or something for a second?
Yeah, for a little bit. It's just like some old wives' tale,
or like Day of the Dead. You leave food out for the people.
Sure. Yeah.
I actually thought it was gonna be that. It was gonna be some kind of like offering.
Yeah. To Saint Hildegard.
And then I went, oh no, wait. I've heard that too about cleaning.
Oil painting.
Because it sucks up the oil, whatever it was.
Good to know.
Yeah, and what a great service. And we had this running thing because obviously, since Sister Julienne has volunteered herself to work at the hospital, she's asked to marry Cynthia to do the work of a service, which Monica Joan is a little bit put off by.
It's like, really? She doesn't know anything.
And all it takes is a little smarts to marry Cynthia. Oh, could you help? We will toil together. And then it's in good stead. Yeah, it's going to happen. And it was a great service, right? And I don't know anything about St. Hildegard, but I do now. And again, I just like the thing. The line, which is is about hugs. What is it?
God hugs you.
God hugs you. God hugs you. You are encircled by the arms of the mystery of God. You shine so finely, it surpasses understanding.
Seriously.
The whole speech that she did about woman by woman and child by child, we're sort of making an impact, and sometimes we are challenged, not in our faith, but in our work, and things go forward, and it's not always, it doesn't always go well.
It's not always roses.
But it was such a beautiful service. I loved, again, I love seeing the community of the midwives and the nuns when they come together and are doing, whatever services they are together. I love it when they're having meals together.
Oh yeah,
because
those scenes are the best.
You have those
all that interplay
and the different perspectives.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously the midwives are very respectful of it, and and the nuns are understanding and respectful of the secular life, and I just find that fascinating.
And it was the line when Sister Mary Cynthia says, "Babies are born broken," and that was the look.
Oh yes,
look from Sister.
That was your
Julienne.
Emmy moment.
Yeah, it was like that look is just there, and then there are lives we cannot heal and stuff like that. So it was just. This isn't the right word. I can't think of it. It's just delicious. To watch this and to see them do this and put it all together, it was just wonderful. And I also wanted to point to the hugs thing, because this goes into our next storyline, which is the whole Trixie thing. Because after Linda has her spontaneous miscarriage, she says she just needs some aspirin,
a good cry,
and a hug. That's perhaps the most important thing. And then
she forgot the cup of tea.
But that's true. But a cup of tea is a hug.
You're right. In a mug.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but there was that connection between the two, because that is the hug that she's talking about, the one that encircles you, and surpasses all understanding. So, yeah. Courtney, did you want to add any words to that?
It's too much. Like every time. They come up with another way to do it. It's not anything different. This is the same thing that's happening.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Isn't that
Got
weird?
us again.
And we're not over it, like, at all.
No, not at all.
Insane.
Exactly. But it goes unrecognized. I mean, that's not to say that, because people are loving. What is it? 10 million people viewers and stuff. But it just hasn't been recognized by any quote body, so to speak, like Emmys or whatever.
I have some potentially fake news to tell.
Well, you want to do? No,
you want to do that
now?
later? I just thought maybe
okay,
just
sure,
add
go
it in.
ahead. Go
okay,
ahead.
so this is according to the Daily Star. Super reputable source.
All right.
And this is actually from
so take all this with a couple grains?
Yeah, a couple grains of salt.
Yes.
So this is last year, just before the Christmas special, which was the opening of the, they quote several of the women in Call the Midwife. Judy Parfitt, who plays Sister Monica Joan, says, quote, I get very irritated because it's always all about Poldark and Downton and Strictly, which means, those are the shows everybody loves.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sorry, but I don't think any of them burn a candle against what we do on Call the Midwife. That's not out of arrogance. It's about the quality. And that's what we're talking about, right? Another quote from Pam Ferris.
Quote
from Pam Ferris, who plays Sister Evangelina, says, I think we're slightly underrated. I don't think people realize how groundbreaking the show is, which is, I totally agree with. And Jenny Uggeter, who plays Sister Julienne, she says, I'd like to see the drama I'd like to see the drama recognized by the public. It's odd that it isn't recognized more, because it is extraordinary. And that's, that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, dramatically speaking, acting, well, forget it. I mean, it's up there with anything. Writing, everything. So.
Well, and it's a machine, and it's a you have to put out money to publicize in order to be in the running for
all this stuff. Gotcha.
Awards.
Yeah. But it's kind of surprising that because we're especially the Emmys, so Gaga over Downton. I'm going, but this one, I mean,
quite get on the road.
Well, and this show is bigger in the UK than it is
in
America.
Just surprising.
And it's bigger in
Downton's
the UK
bigger
than it is
all
down.
around.
Yes.
But it's just surprising that it isn't noticed more, because I'm just stunned by it, actually.
I am too.
But anyway,
let's tweet more about it.
Exactly, because people I know. But I get it though, to some degree. When I was first told about, call them. I don't think that's going to be a show for me. And every week I go, it's lost. It's okay. You got me again. Every week, and like Courtney was saying, it's like it's really nothing. I mean, it's nothing new in terms of its scope and what it deals with. But each week is incredibly dramatic, and it's. Because they say you can't make shows about good people or nice things because they're not dramatic enough.
Right?
And it's like, what? Hello?
It works every
week they're doing it.
Every week. And not a
It's redemptive, it's renewing, it's refreshing, and every week.
When I started watching the show from season 1, and we didn't obviously start doing our AfterBuzz until now, but I've been a fan from the very beginning. And one of the things that I love about it, and you and I talked about this a while back, was that I love that they always leave me while part of me might be devastated, there's always hope.
Yeah.
There's always love. There's always a light somewhere in the end of it. So I don't, go to bed sobbing. Exactly.
You don't want to kill yourself.
Yeah, because there's
There's friendship, there's
always
love, there's
kindness,
always,
compassion,
exactly.
dignity, all that stuff that you're talking about.
And a community that actually still cares about itself and the people in it.
Yeah.
Which is a rare thing.
Yeah.
When she says in a not so hopeful voice. But speaking of what you were just talking about, let's finish our Trixie and
and Ian and
'cause
Linda.
we got
Sadie,
Linda, we got Sadie and Morris and their trials and tribulations. And I thought, because we haven't really seen a young love storyline
Situation.
Right.
that involves this, right? This is the first one that I can remember. I'm sure there may have been one, but I'm not recalling it at the moment. And it looks all kind of fun. He's been accepted. We get this.
Fun.
Life is good.
Oh no! And he's staring. He's over there at the water, and he's staring out over the possibility where it's going to take him, and not this river, but another one, and even
the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I mean, and you could just see his whole future
Yes,
right in
they
front of
built
him.
the whole future. All
Exactly.
glowy and wonderful.
And then, by the way. And then I love that you cut to, and he's walking now amongst all those factory workers and stuff, and all that future that he was looking forward to is now all around him, and it's just a cacophony of noise. And it was a great little cut, and I thought it was terrific that they did that, because that future's crushed, and this one is just coming on right now.
Coming on him.
And that for me was what that storyline was. He kept those two futures that he saw for himself, and she saw for herself, etc. And those things just not coming to be.
Yeah.
Neither one of them.
It's funny how much is changing and how much didn't change.
Yeah.
Because it's
Exactly.
neither parent was like, yeah, it probably is a better idea for you to go to school and figure something else out, because your dad's dead probably from working in the factory, and so you're gonna die in like 20 years.
And
so
mom's
mom's got
whatever, she's
emphysema,
coughing it up.
and it's just funny that the change had not reached that portion of culture at all yet. It's like, nope, she's pregnant, y'all gotta get married, and you're working in the factory. Here's your shirt, go. I was like, did you really give him the shirt at the party?
No, you gave him the coveralls.
Congratulations.
Like that was going to be a great dance.
That was a little too much.
But again, it was good enough for me, so look what I got. I pulled some strings.
But by the end of the episode, he was putting on the other shirt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Putting on the robes.
Yeah, it was a great little callback. It was nicely done. Easy way to show it.
Yeah.
Nice cinematic way. So, but a couple of things the other thing that was driving me, go ahead, Tamara.
The buffers that were happening. So Trixie happened to be there when, when the first conference is happening at home, and she's saying, emotions run high, which I thought was incredibly sensible. And kind.
Yes.
Shocking. Emotions run high. The way clear will the way through will be clear. When things calm down, and then a little later, when Dad comes home and throws Ian up against the wall. Tom's there, as a buffer to help with. How this is all going to go.
And this kind of goes to what Courtney was saying, is how when the midwives are there, it's like
it's part of the community.
Very personal.
Exactly, very personal. Yeah.
Kind of a familial.
Yeah. And we had all these opposing things. It was very rounded, that argument. And I love the smash cut too, when the dad is smashing it up against the wall. Yeah. That seems pretty real.
Yeah, that would happen for sure. Yeah.
I think what was frustrating is that, as honorable as his intentions were to, stay behind and take care of his family, as great, that's what most people should do. But it's also going against those times, but he shouldn't do that either, because he's not going to be happy either. So it was like, it's caught between a rock and a hard place.
And he makes a great argument. He said, look, if I go to university, I can do better for us. I can,
in 3 years.
Exactly, which is you don't have 3 years. I mean, it's like, and what a horrible, and they kept stripping away the things, because I just thought it was like, but as soon as he makes the decision that, he sells the watch, which is like, okay, cool, get that right, I'm going to do it right, I got to take care of Mom, I got to take care of my soon-to-be wife, but then he makes the other decision. I'm going, no. Stick your head in an oven. No. I mean, that's the other thing that pissed me off.
You're right, Anna. He's pissed.
Yeah. That was a wuss move.
It was.
His only way out of
misguided,
that.
I don't know, tragic artist kind of end or something like that.
But no one wins then. The family doesn't have him to take care of, and then he's gone, and there goes his future too.
But he's so clearly only thinking about himself at that moment, because he's a boy who recites poetry continually to himself, and anybody else who will listen. So he's, it's the greatest moment of his life when he finds out he's gotten into college and can go. Because all of a sudden, like you say, the entire world opens up in front of him, and then this one incident comes and crashes every hope he had.
And he sees the punching of the time card is the end of my life. There is no future. I will end up dead like my dad anyway.
I did love that scene, how it was edited. It was fascinating because it just showed just quickly over and over again that's not the life he wanted. It's
they haven't used that technique in this one.
No.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant, and it was so simple.
It made me in pain. I didn't want to go to the factory either.
Me neither. Get emphysema every day.
Oh, terrible. Goodness, get out of there.
Well, didn't he say the line?
That's not the way you get out.
I mean.
But didn't he say the line about punching time cards and whatnot, and then he saw it over and over again. He didn't like that.
He couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to work.
Right.
Can we back up just a little bit to the bathroom floor scene?
Sure, Tamara, let's do that.
So Tom and Ian are having a conversation on the floor of the men's room in the pub. Okay, number one.
What?
Gross.
Never. Never, ever.
I don't care.
Gross.
Never, ever, ever. Unless you are drunk.
However devastated you are.
I don't care if he is a man of the cloth. That cloth should not be sitting on that pub floor.
Anywho, the heart to heart about leaving someone you love, and he says, I don't love her more than anything else in the world. Yeah. And Tom says, sometimes enough is enough.
Enough love is enough.
Enough love is enough, and it has to be.
Yeah.
Settling.
Yeah.
Not when you 18. That's a disaster waiting to happen.
I did find it interesting that they were in the bathroom as well, but I think it's just the metaphorical sense that they've hit rock bottom, or he's hit rock bottom.
Yes, of course. No,
he's on the ground,
of course. So. But yeah, it was just terrible. Didn't like it. Not good.
You mean the actual scene, or you mean the fact that it's taking place?
No, the scene. It was sad. Talking about how you have to leave things, but But I think that's a really good point. It is like at the bottom.
That's the lowest point of his life, physically and mentally.
Yeah, until the very next moment where he's passed out, dying on the kitchen floor.
Until he gets to die.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't a low point. He thought that was like,
I'm
gonna
done.
fix it. Like,
Next step.
That's it. I'm out.
I fixed it. Yeah.
And then he doesn't show up to work.
Yeah, the whole thing. Well, that's why, because of the punch card, he didn't show up.
Yeah. Okay, so then Linda goes to the doctor, to the clinic, and sees Trixie.
Oh, yeah.
My note right here, so kind.
Oh, Trixie?
Trixie in through that whole situation. I mean, just, again, perfect. Because she's incredibly sympathetic. She's explaining to her. I love the moment when Linda was in the bathroom and she says...
the parallel bathroom scene.
Yeah. Don't cry. It's a natural process. It's going to be over soon. And I'm sure Linda was incredibly conflicted about it anyway,
Scared and the whole thing.
But I loved the assuredness that Trixie had and was giving to Linda about, you're going to get through this. And it's, what an incredible tackle box of skills these midwives have.
Thank God they have experience in that.
Yeah, communicating with people.
Exactly.
Compassion.
Their
also.
people skills.
Because Trixie did say the line, things happen the way they should.
Yeah.
And they did.
Well, she gets that from Sadie.
Right. Exactly.
And then, then we get the cutbacks between, all that's happening, she's lost the baby, and he's decided to kill himself.
himself.
It's like,
right.
No.
It's a very Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I wanted to see the vial on the floor and the knife.
Exactly.
I thought that was gonna happen. So of course, but we didn't. We saw vomit on the shoe. We didn't see. that. Sorry,
pukes on the shoe.
Puked on the shoes.
And but then you get the whole Trixie and Tom issue, and how that informs their relationship. Because afterwards, when all the family's trying to decide what to do now, they're worried about Ian because he was crying all night. No, I'm fine. I'm going to work. I'm doing the thing. I'm doing. He's got the coveralls on. He's
and
ready
then
to go.
Linda gets to make a strong statement and do the right thing.
Yeah, yeah. It was a good arc because the last time we had everybody in the room, which was the scene where he jacks Linda up. I'm sorry, Morris and jacks Ian up against the wall, and they have that big argument. What are we going to do now? You're going to
do right by my daughter.
But now, as Trixie prophesied, cooler heads will prevail at the end there, and the emotions aren't running so high, and then everybody's realizing, okay, no, here's how it's going to work. So, and I like Mom coming in and taking the ring. It's going to be right here.
We're going to just leave it here.
Yeah. I like the line, too. She says, you can come see me cough during the holidays.
It's good that they all came around.
Yeah. And the weird thing, there's that hope because on some weird way, I'm going, yeah, they can make that happen. They can make that work. And I'm kind of hoping that they do.
They can. Yeah, exactly. It's funny how that wasn't obviously it wouldn't have been a story if they figured that out earlier on. But it's kind of like she understood who she was with Ian, excited about him going to school, and that's the thing that he would do. And of anything, if you know him, the factory would kill him. He would probably make it a year die, from depression or something.
One of the questions I've had though was Linda. Linda was when they were standing by the river, and he was saying, this is going to be my whole life, and then she says, I'm in the family way.
Yeah.
She was very conflicted before she was talking to him about that, and I wonder, was she conflicted because she was in the family way, or was she conflicted because she doesn't really want to be leave this town and become live the bigger life?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
Because this may have been the blessing in disguise for both of them in that
Well, that's certainly what Ian thought it would be. Is that they would be moving on?
Yeah. But it may be that she doesn't
want to.
Yeah. She did seem pretty content going to the factory, giving candy for the day, and not really sort of entertaining his notions of all this grandeur, but not really I'm gonna go leave.
Not really
with
buying
you.
it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. You can go.
I saw Linda as her conflict was, I think there was a quick moment when she's talking to Ian, you can see the disappointment on her face, but she knew that Ian would, in the end, would still leave that place.
Yeah.
Whether leave her, leave the location, but he would be gone, and she wouldn't be a part of that life. And I saw that conflict.
No. I see that.
All right. So, but in that last sequence where Sadie says that life finds a way, or is it love does too, and that in the end all things will work out.
Yeah, things work out the way they should, one way or another.
One way or another. So that's the thing that informs Trixie. So then we finally come to this. We knew at some point, and because we saw the coming ups, that that trouble that was brewing from last week.
The love triangle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Poor Barb.
Oh, I love Barb.
I know. You did, and everybody's saying last week we liked Barb and Tom together, right?
Yeah.
Courtney, you were here. What are you thinking about it?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I get it, but I don't like it.
Why? You want Trixie?
I wanted it to work for him and Trixie, and I know it can't because he's too much of a giver, and he will always be giving, and he needs somebody that's just like that, and Trixie's not like that.
Yeah.
Oh, but I like Trixie better as an option.
Yeah.
I was reading a chat room. Thank you, Anna. About people. There was at least one person who said they did not like the Tom and Barbara connection because it was kind of, they didn't say this word, but it was sort of saccharine, a little overload of sweetness.
Oh, goody, we're all good, and we give to everybody, and everybody's great, and we're givers, and
But it's true. But seriously, she says it. I mean, it's clear. I'm 23. I'm a nurse, and when a nurse sees pain, they try to heal it. That's and that's who she is.
Yeah.
And he went into his business, so to speak. He's man of the cloth for a reason.
Yeah.
So that's just who they are. That's their makeup.
I think that's just how the universe itself works too. Like good begets good.
Well, I wouldn't say good.
He's like
goody being good. Trixie is good. She's not a goody. So that's a different situation.
And Barbara kept insisting, what if I wasn't good? What if I had bad thoughts?
Oh, God. It was so
you didn't buy any of this?
No, shut up. You already like made out with him and like have a situation going on. Of course you've had nasty thoughts, girl. You already did it. Stop. But she was in that, I'm the goody and I don't want to do anything bad. Even though I already did.
She's a preacher's daughter.
But I already did. Because I already lusted after him and probably touched him and something. Yeah, so she was already there. But whatever, it's fine. They'll be happy together, I'm sure. Trixie will find love too.
So they have this but Trixie and Tom have their little moments, and they, when they're helping save Ian, they have those moments and everything like that. And then there's the conversation about how we've been apart for a year and 10 days, so he's actually counting the days, he's still in some degrees carrying a torch for something, right?
Which is also why he should not be with Barbara.
Exactly.
Okay,
counting
that I can agree with.
Like exactly to the day, when it was like done, and you're trying to. It doesn't make sense.
And I'm going, well, did they just want to make this muddy here? Because usually they don't, it's a little
Barbara's
clearer than that.
It's going to go all bad.
It's just going to go bad. And I'm going, because I'm going, I don't want to feel, I'm not feeling good about that relationship if you're counting the days with Trixie.
Right. I think they also showed the audience that he realized that he still had feelings for Trixie, so it was really his decision whether he wants to go back to Trixie or whether he wants to now go with Barbara.
But he says the whole line about it's misery for us to keep hanging on.
But at least he had that realization that he knows and he's aware, so what's his next step to moving forward?
Is a rebound with Barbara.
It's a rebound, and it's not going to last, and it's going to be unfortunate for Barbara.
So there you go. It'll be good. She won't be so giddy anymore because she's going to have
But I don't want
pain.
the girl to get, crushed because she, falls in love, and he discovers through all of this that really Trixie is the one for him, and then he leaves Barbara, and then there's problems with Barbara and Trixie because they got to go through that again. So it just sucks.
It's a mess. It's going to be a mess.
It does.
It is
all.
messy.
Everybody was crying. They were all miserable.
Yeah.
And I don't think the misery is over. Because here's the thing. Here's the element that has not been really explored, and that is that Trixie is a different person than she was a year and 10 days ago.
When she called it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they have an intimacy between them that is unique. When they were in the pub and she had a glass of baby champs in her hand and he had the glass of OJ and he was like, I can handle this for you. I mean, that was an incredibly caring thing to do and obviously showed that he knows what the dynamic is. He's one of the very few people who knows the situation with Trixie choosing not to drink anymore. And so him saying, I'm still conflicted about it a year and 10 days later, but I'm going to go hang out with her, I think is short-sighted. I'm not quite as vehement as my partner over here. But
short-sighted after a year and 10 days.
Yes, it's short-sighted. If you weren't just dating, you guys were engaged, about to get married. This is her friend that she lives with, and suddenly you guys are gonna date and be fine when you just told her the day before that you were still thinking about your girl for the last year and 10 days. No, it's not gonna work. It's all bad. It's gonna go bad, and it's gonna go bad for Barbara because I think it'll be fine for Trixie and the pastor, but
and the handsome pastor.
Well, I know he is cute, so I get it.
Yes.
But Barbara is setting herself up.
But I didn't like his argument towards Trixie saying, we're not letting each other go, we're not letting each other grow either. So
you say you like that, or you didn't
I liked how he brought that up. He was aware of everything that happened. So.
But Trixie is growing.
I was going to say
has grown.
He hasn't. He was talking about himself.
And if anything, maybe neither of them has gone on a date in a year and 10 days. Maybe that's what he's counting. How many days have I gone without kissing a girl? Well, I kind of kissed her, but I'd like to kiss more girls. Maybe you, maybe not you. I don't know. I mean, he's
how many voices are in your head?
He's got a little crisis of himself. He's going through.
Yeah, it's not a crisis of conscience. It's a crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that turn was like, crisis, of course. But that turn for him was like, whoa, that was weird. It didn't leave me with a good feeling for them at all. So, and I don't think their goodiness is going to overcome that. Unless there's something else has to happen for them to work.
And even when they're like exiting to go on the date, and Trixie like helps her with her
nice moment, though.
and it's like it's cute. That's she looks like she's going into the darkness because she leaves and it's like all dark. She's got the like dark like the blue dress on, and I'm like, you're going to your demise because he's gonna break your heart.
Wow.
But she's the sweetest, loveliest girl he's ever met.
That's the easy choice.
Yeah, but
it's way more difficult to deal with a girl that challenges you.
Yeah, and also he says this thing, enough love is enough, or loving enough, whatever that line is. That's how I know it is. That's why I think that's what he's feeling about Barbara. It's like, I love
you enough, and you'll be really nice to
me.
Yeah,
I don't think that's fair to Barbara there. Don't think that's right.
Nah.
So, and that's where I think he is, emotionally. Am I wrong on that?
No. He's about to mess up Barbara.
Yeah,
she's gonna have to like
go
away
really
just like Jenny had to
down.
leave. Like she's gonna get screwed up and have to leave.
Yeah.
He's gonna break the heart of the loveliest, sweetest girl he's ever met.
Yeah.
I was
and maybe
watching.
she'll change.
He's gonna crush her.
Distilling that down.
And then by then it'll be what 65, and then it's all going to haywire.
Charlotte Ritchie, who plays Barbara. I was watching YouTube interviews of her earlier today, and she was talking about how much she loves being on the show and how it's ruined her for everything because she doesn't cry when she watches the show anymore because she's in it. The way
she used to cry.
She used to watch watch the show and cry like we all do, and now she doesn't anymore. And it might be that Charlotte's going to be crying because she might get sent away because Tom's going to break her heart, and then what's she going to do?
You can't send more people away.
All right, speaking of broken
No,
hearts,
you're right. They can't.
No.
Isn't it time?
Maybe she'll become a nun.
She might.
She's a vicar's daughter.
She'll turn to it.
Mary Cynthia. Yeah. So speaking of broken hearts, we see Patsy and Delia.
Yes.
So they're, they had this nice little thing. They're all alone.
No.
She stayed up and waited up late.
Stayed up for her.
Yeah, it's like whoa.
Nobody was there.
Yeah.
I waited for somebody to walk in. But
It's like, and as soon as they started singing, God, Monica Joan's gonna have a sugar fit in the middle of the night. Exactly. It's gonna interrupt it, but Monica Joan probably wouldn't really acknowledge it and everything. But I like the line about the hair doing the beehive.
Yeah.
So much lacquer.
So lacquer.
Yeah. I don't know if that's because somebody comments about the hair or whatever. That was great.
Her hair is always perfect. Patsy's hair
it doesn't move. It's like
perfect.
Amazing.
They're riding bikes. It's still there.
Yeah, but then of course when they're sunning their legs.
What are you saying like that?
Because I said, what?
They want a little
That's
tan.
I know, it's such
an
odd scene. Go, I get it. I mean, it's just not something you guys get it better than me. I don't. Okay, so anyway.
It's harder for Patsy.
Yeah, clearly, because she said her legs look like milk bottles.
Nope.
Yeah, whatever it is. But when they have it, they decide to go out on a date. Here they are alone, and in the previous scene, and then now you're gonna go on a date.
Each other,
they're like, exactly.
This is so
I'm going great. They're making plans to go on a date, and it's
a party.
Boom! It's a party.
They invite other people and go, what are you doing?
Well, she did look at her like,
she did not look happy about that. She was like,
Like,
what are we doing?
We had plans.
Exactly. But then Delia invites somebody too, and it's like, okay, all right.
It's going to be a party, y'all.
Of course, and then Cousin Mabel gets invited as well.
Cousin Mabel.
Because she's coming to town.
Lies.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that, the lies that made that
Already
very
got
toxic
Barbara
there.
lying.
I liked how Trixie immediately picked that up. There's no Cousin Delia.
I like how Trixie had on her little shorts and everybody else was in their long skirts.
Because
that's why the preacher's coming back to Trixie. Just saying.
Because of the clothes.
Oh my God.
Okay, but what was the other part of that though? Do we think? Should we? Let's talk about Doc Turner here because this is the first time we've actually seen a recurring storyline, at least that I can remember. Because we're obviously keeping up with the thalidomide and the effect it's having. And they're carrying that storyline through. We had Doc Turner and Sheila being detectives trying to figure out what's going on.
Yep.
Sister Julienne talks to them, and they're doing lots of research and
looking at all their patients.
Exactly, trying to figure out. It's local. It's got to be local. No, it's got to. This guy was. He had served in Australia.
The H-bomb.
H-bomb, World War II.
Yeah.
Okay, so all that was happening. While that was happening, the only thing in my mind was like, why do they keep showing him smoke cigarettes? I mean, I know they do, and they hit. We go, this one's hitting this a lot.
Oh,
and of course, then we see the coming ups, and we say, okay, so.
A couple episodes back, he was smoking like a chimney too.
I agree.
Making me crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
was.
I've known from the very beginning that there was going to be something in this.
And it's even weirder when you see, because they even had it in this episode. I think it was Ruby that was doing it. She's sitting down and whenever talking about the hospital. She's pregnant. She just yanks out a cigarette. I was just going, that's so weird to see. So weird to see. All right, so we're going to keep this storyline going. So they're not going to, I don't think they're going to figure it out, but they...
right. I mentioned this before we went on. I think it's so interesting because this is the first time in the series that I can remember that they've talked about they have character arcs that go throughout the whole season, but they don't have medical themes that go through. Maybe something that bleeds over a little bit from the last episode, but not like this really going through the entire...
I think it's a series arc on this one. I'm guessing it would be anyway, since it was so prevalent at this time period.
And they haven't done that before. And it's so interesting because I have been reading, the first time the olders of us heard the word thalidomide last season, I was like, and I was even reading today, 20-year-olds talking about what is this thing about the babies with no limbs, and I don't understand. And, everybody else is like, thalidomide lady, you don't know this, do you? Because, if you're really under like 30, you kind of haven't heard of it.
Sorry.
So it's it's really something, and I think it's really interesting and important, and it's part of that progress that they talked about in the beginning of the show. Things are happening so quickly, all these changes are happening. We're going from home birth to hospital birth, and it's going to improve things, and of course certain things improved, but other things didn't. And there's nobody knew that you shouldn't smoke and drink when you were pregnant in the 60s.
I find so fascinating.
Yeah.
Not to be judgy, but like...
but I'll be a little bit.
Just a little bit. Like smoking. Okay, maybe not alcohol, but smoking you didn't think affected it at all.
I know.
I just find that so
Well,
strange.
and let's face it, they had a lot of people coming out saying no, that it's fine, that there's no physical health problem.
It was also socially accepted, so no one really thought about it when it was a community.
It was pushed.
It was pushed, but geez.
Well, there was
I know, it seems odd. He's sticking a burning fire stick in your mouth.
Dirt in your mouth, and like you taste it, so it's not food, it's not nourishment. So I just find that interesting. But whatever.
I mean, there was also an argument way back when cigarettes first came out that they were medicinal.
Like Coca-Cola.
That's why I smoke the menthols and drink caffeinated Coca-Cola. I mean, the Coca-Cola, whatever. I mean, people didn't know. They really didn't know how strongly the connection of anything that went into the mother's body,
was to the fetus.
Went straight to,
Yeah, and I think that's the entertainment. The entertaining factor of the show is that they're introducing stories that we already know how the end result and how it happens, but it's fun to watch like how they would react when that first came out.
Yeah.
So
one of the things, I can't remember the exact numbers, but one of the things that was ultimately discovered about thalidomide was that there was an incredibly narrow window that when the women took it, it's like a 20-day window. If they took it any time within that 20 days, their babies would be affected. It wasn't like, they didn't have to take it for months and months. It was a really small window, and to whatever degree the babies would be affected.
We got to start wrapping up.
Just one last thing. The last shot, we kind of got to it, and then we went off the baby, the thalidomide baby, Cottingham, being in the box for the post-mortem. Was such an incredibly heartbreaking image.
And one to leave on, which is
painful and loud. It was just like that heavy
and
box
clinical
on the metal
and just, exactly. It was just,
because at the end
jarring.
of the day, it's just files.
Jarring.
Yeah.
All right, any last thoughts? Anything we didn't get to?
And I just really liked when the son came in and was like studying World War II, and they were World War II is history now. Sorry, that entertained me.
But you know what? Everyone can learn from history.
Exactly.
That's right.
Do you have any news and gossip?
I do. I have a little bit.
Okay, we're going to do quickly news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Jessica Rain, who used to play Jenny Lee. Do you know she's married to the guy on the Selfridge, on Mr. Selfridge?
Yes.
No,
the redheaded guy on Mr. Selfridge, Tom Goodman Hill. Oh, yeah. Love Spy. Good show. Reports are she's pregnant.
She's going to call a midwife.
5 months, maybe calling a midwife herself.
Call the midwife.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. As long as Humphrey. Never mind, I guess that. Okay.
Can Sister Julienne help deliver?
Maybe she'll come back and make a cameo.
I miss her.
They're going to hire her baby to be one of the babies.
There you go. Except she's in the U.S. making TV shows, from what I understand, and the UK as well.
Okay.
I just want to thank some YouTube commenters. To Rosemary K, to Da Popolo in Paradise, Nico Dav, Catherine Smith, and Sarah L., some of our all-star commenters. And also on Twitter, Caroline in London, Anna in Ireland.
Caroline, I hope you made the conference call. We
Yes.
want you to know the line is always open.
Absolutely. Always open.
Yes. Go to sleep.
Go to bed. So thank you for your comments and your questions and your theories and your predictions.
That's right. And so do I have a prediction? I'm obviously, well, not obviously, but I think Dr. Turner's going to have his cancer bout. He'll be the doctor.
Do you think
will
he's
become
actually
the
going to
patient.
have cancer?
The doctor will become the patient in some way, because I mean it's a good storyline. It's great for him because he'll become a better doctor. He'll be horrible to deal with because when he's trying to quit smoking, he'll be short with people.
Yeah. It's going to create conflict.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And here's the thing, I was like, oh god, they're going to do a cancer storyline. But then I go, oh, but wait a minute, they handle storylines great. Even I don't care if we've seen storylines before. The way they do them, they handle them in such a different way that they're always dramatic and always interesting. So I'm actually looking forward to it if they go that route, even though it's something we may have seen before.
I don't think it'll be cancer. I think it might just be the start of what could be cancer. In a way, he's patient X. So it'll just show him that, hey, if you keep doing that, this is the cause of it. But I don't think he'll have it. He'll be at the point where he's in stage 1. Like, if it gets worse, then you should be worried. But like,
I just think you put him in a debilitating situation, then you get Sheila and what that does to her, what that does to his son, what that does to the community, because the doctor may not be there to help. I mean, I think that it could be.
That's some good conflict, isn't it?
Stuff.
Because we already saw him kind of fly out when he had a little bit of a psychological situation. So to be completely physically debilitated.
Right. And we saw it with his son and the polio thing. And
he can't die, though.
No.
He can't die. Maybe it's just a little bit of emphysema.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Well, I mean, who knows?
He can, and then maybe his
wife
wife becomes the doctor.
Yeah.
No, we
so do we? And so you've already suggested that Barbara and Tom.
Barbara's definitely going to get a heartbroken. It's not going to work out.
But okay, let's say that's true. Are you saying that Tom and Trix will get back together?
I don't know if they'll be back together in this season or if there will just be like a spark at the last episode where they see each other and realize this is what we're supposed to be.
Do you think they're end game?
You really see them together?
I do.
I see them together because I think they're
Not
good for each other, and I think that she had to grow. I think she should have ended the engagement when she did,
right.
because she was not in a place to be a good wife for him. Yeah. But I think that she grew, and I think that he also would grow from the situation and being apart from her and recognizing that. And I think that they would be able to come back together and have a very wonderful experience together. And Barbara's just going to be heartbroken on the side of the road. Taking a bus back to wherever she came from.
Always like to leave it on a high note.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, Barbara. It's not that I don't like you. I just don't think it's going to work.
I'm rooting for you, girl.
So you're rooting
for Barbara.
If you root for her, then you would root for her to leave because she is a rebound.
I root for relationships that are already doomed. So there you go.
We are mid-season,
yes,
so we only have 4 more episodes. Just so everybody knows, I don't have anything to add to that.
All right, well, we have to leave it here anyway because we have to go. Thank you so much for listening. What's that? Oh, yeah, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Stewart Starlet.
Yeah.
I'm at Tamara Berg on Twitter. TamaraCentral.com is my website.
Marisa.
You can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV.
I almost forgot that because you can't find me anywhere. So I don't.
Can't find
It's not important. But you will find me here next week when we talk about the next called Midwife. Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. Cup of tea.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.